Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jordan, and today we are here to talk about some anticipated releases of mine that are coming out in October through December of this year. I will admit I am not great about keeping up with new releases. I don't spend a lot of time researching books that are about to come out. I'm much more of a person who will see a book on Instagram as people are posting it on release day, and I'll be like, oh, that book came out today. I like that author, I should go pick it up. You know, I don't really keep a list of books that are about to come out, and I'm very bad about pre-ordering and just planning out future releases in general. And I would like to be better at that. So I went ahead and did some research about books coming out October through December of this year, and I'm here to share what some of those books are. I have 15 books here to talk about. How I found these books is on Goodreads. I basically went through all of the books that I read and any authors that I might be interested in future books from. I clicked on their author profile, and then if they had a new book coming out, I wrote down when it's coming out. And then I also browsed NetGalley. I don't use NetGalley all that much anymore. I just don't prefer the ebook reading experience. So I hardly ever request ARCs through NetGalley, but I still think it's a really good tool for looking at books that are coming out in the near future, because it's very easy to search by genre or by release date and have a whole bunch of recommendations, and a lot of recommendations that might not be authors that were already on your radar. So those are the two primary methods I used for looking up these anticipated releases, but I'm sure I will refine my process going forward as I continue doing videos like this into the future. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. I guess I should probably scoot over so I have room to put the book covers. But starting in October, I have 3 books coming out on October 4th that I'm somewhat interested and excited about. The first is Our Missing Hearts by Celeste Ng. She has 2 full-length novels already out. I really enjoyed both of those books, so I am excited for her newest release. This one appears to be a contemporary fiction book, maybe with a little bit of dystopian or sci-fi elements in it. And it sounds like our main character receives a mysterious cryptic drawing, and it leads him on an adventure to solve a mystery. Celeste Ng does characters really well, and she does like slower, more dramatic storylines that really get you to think. So very excited about this one. The next book that I have written down is Flight 171 by Amy Christine Parker. I think this is one that I found on NetGalley, and it sounds so good. This is about a group of students who are going on a senior class ski trip, and they're all on the same flight together. It gets hijacked by a supernatural creature, and the students get an ultimatum where they have to choose one of themselves to sacrifice, or the whole plane will crash and everyone will die. Sounds totally up my alley. I don't know what the supernatural creature is. Typically, I don't like supernatural elements in books unless it's something like this that's making for an interesting moral dilemma or plot line or something like that. So I think that sounds so good. The next book that I'm interested in that comes out October 4th is Station Eternity by Mur Lafferty, another NetGalley find. I've not heard anyone else talk about this book or anything, but the synopsis sounds very interesting to me. It is about our main character who solves murder cases. She is constantly surrounded by death, and it's made her kind of an outcast. And so she gets the opportunity to go to a space station and kind of escape from her life surrounded by murder. And then apparently when she's on the space station, aliens start to die. I don't know. Aliens are also kind of hit and miss for me, but this sounds like it's more focused on our main character and her relationship with death and murder and what she is doing to cultivate like murderous surroundings. I also just like the cover of this one, so I'm interested. A little skeptical, but interested. Then hopping forward to October 18th, I have 3 other books that are releasing on that day. The first is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I will not spend too much time on this because everyone knows Colleen Hoover. You're either interested in this book or not. It's a sequel to It Ends With Us, which is a contemporary romance book, and I am very, very, very excited for this book because I love the couple that we're going to be following. Then another pretty well-known author is John Mars. He has a new book coming out called Keep It in the Family. I need to read more of John Mars's backlist because I really think I'm going to like his sci-fi thriller type books. I just haven't read them yet, but I have read What Lies Between Us, which is more of a domestic thriller, but super, super twisty. And that's what this one seems like it's gonna be. It sounds like it's about this couple or this family that moves into this house. They want to renovate it to be like their dream house. Weird, creepy things start happening. I am sure it's going to be twisty and great. And then the last book coming out on October 18th that I'm excited for is one that I hadn't seen a lot about until recently. I've seen more people put this on their anticipated release lists. It's Lavender House by Lev A.C. Rosen. And the first sentence in the synopsis is that it's a delicious story from a new voice in suspense. Lavender House is Knives Out with a queer historical twist. Honestly, I don't need to know anything more. I loved Knives Out, the murder mystery movie, and then adding in queer elements and a historical timeline. That sounds like a recipe for a book that I'm going to really enjoy, so I'm not going to read anything else about the synopsis, but I have high hopes that that's going to be a really good book. Okay, getting into November, I have 6 more books to talk about that I'm excited about. The first is The Prisoner by B.A. Paris. This is coming out November 1st. B.A. Paris is kind of a hit or miss author for me. She writes thrillers. The only reason she's an auto-buy author for me is because her good thrillers are some of my all-time favorites. So honestly, I don't really need to know what this book is about, but I'm sure it will be some sort of, again, twisty thriller. Another book coming out November 1st that I'm interested in is She's Gone by David Bell. This author has written a lot of books. I haven't really heard him talked about much, but I just read The Finalists by him a month or so ago, and I feel like this author is someone who, if I get the right plot out of him, it could really be a thriller that works for me. This sounds like it might be a little bit more in the YA realm. It's about a main character guy who wakes up in the hospital one day. He finds out he's been in a car accident with his girlfriend, but his girlfriend has gone missing after the car accident. There's her blood in his car, but she's nowhere to be found. So he's going to have to figure out what happened to her. He's being accused of her murder. I have had success with young adult mystery thrillers, so I'm hoping that this keeps up that streak. And then one more book that comes out on November 1st is called Small Game by Blair Braverman. Have not heard of this author before. I think I saw it on NetGalley. The cover is kind of cool to me. And this book is about a survival reality show gone wrong that leaves a group of strangers stranded in the northern wilds. I love it. I love reality shows. I love stranded survival stories. I don't need to know anything else. I'm sold. The next book that I am excited about is The Family Game by Catherine Steadman, which comes out on November 8th. I've seen a lot of people excited about this book. I've seen some people reading ARCs and giving their reviews already. It sounds like this one has to do with like a family inheritance game. Again, don't need to know anything more. I'm gonna give it a try, even though I've seen somewhat mixed reviews so far. I'm going to keep my mind open and give it a fair chance. Another one that comes out on November 8th that I am so excited about is Whiteout. This is a collection of short stories by a ton of really amazing authors. They already released a collection called Blackout, which was all about different groups of characters in each of the stories who all experienced the same New York City blackout. And there were like overlapping characters and storylines, and it was really cool to see all of those kind of interweave. And it seems like this one is going to be similar, but it's set in Atlanta and it's during a whiteout or a snowstorm right before Christmas. It's gonna be so good. The authors involved are Danielle Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon, some of my top tier favorite authors. So I don't even care that I don't normally love short story collections, and I also don't love books set at Christmas. I'm making an exception to read this book for sure. And then one more book that comes out in November is How to Survive Everything by Ewan Morrison. This comes out on November 15th. Haven't heard of it before or this author, but the synopsis is quite interesting. This is about 2 children who live with their mother, but their dad believes that like a pandemic is coming. He wants to bunker down and keep his kids safe, so he ends up kidnapping his own children. And so the kids have to deal with all of that's going on, dealing with their somewhat crazy father, trying to get back in touch with their mother, also dealing with what's potentially happening actually in the world, if they are in any sort of danger, dealing with that. I don't know, it sounds interesting. Okay, and then I have 3 books to talk about that come out in December. The first is called The Union by Leah Vernon. Goodreads says this is a daring dystopian novel that explores the power of friendship in a future society built on violence and division. It's 1,000 years in the future, a black elite class reigns, and then of course I think some kind of revolt against the government happens. I love dystopian books, and that sounds like a super interesting premise. So I think that should be right up my alley. The next book that I'm interested in December is called The Ingenue by Rachel Kapelke-Dale. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this author wrote The Ballerinas, which was a really cool character study and study about like body autonomy and consent, specifically within the dance ballerina world. This book is My Dark Vanessa meets The Queen's Gambit, novel of suspense about the bonds of family, the limits of talent, the risks of ambition, and the rewards of revenge. It's about a piano prodigy who returns home after her mother's death, and it turns out that the family estate was given to someone else in the will that she's concerned about. I'm just very interested to read about how that all intertwines, how the piano prodigy portion comes into play. And that synopsis actually doesn't really sound anything like My Dark Vanessa or The Queen's Gambit. So I'm excited to read it for myself and find how elements of those two books play into this one. I think it could be a big hit or miss. And then the last book that I have to talk about is called Five Survive by Holly Jackson. Apparently this is coming out December 8th. Holly Jackson wrote the Good Girl's Guide to Murder book series, which I still haven't read, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love it because everyone loves it. And this is her newest standalone mystery. It says 8 hours, 6 friends, 1 sniper. It's a group of friends who are on a road trip together heading to the beach for spring break. And then their wheels are shot out by a sniper, which sounds intense. And they have to survive. Again, I love a survival story. I love a young adult thriller. And I wanna read this book ahead of the hype because I'm so far behind the hype on A Good Girl's Guide to Murder that I need to give Holly Jackson a chance, and I'm excited to read this new standalone book by her. So those are the books coming up in the next 3 months that I am excited for. Please let me know what your most anticipated releases are for Q4. Are you interested in any of the ones that I mentioned, or are there other ones that you're interested in that you think I might like and I should check out? I am all ears, again, because I'm a little bit oblivious to new releases, so there definitely could be more that I am unaware of. But I'm excited for the start of being more in tune with upcoming releases. So other than that, I don't think I have anything else. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.